All right. Well, welcome back to the podcast. My name's Nate.
I'm Colleen. And we are Navigate with Colleen and Nate.
And this is the Navigate with Us podcast. And we're excited to have you all here with us today. It's weird. It's been a while, and I'm looking at the light. The light I thought was green, and now it's red. I don't know if that's normally how it is. It's just I'm super rusty.
Clearly, we're a little rusty on this. But I think today is such a beautiful day. I'm glad we took the show outside.
Yeah, so this could be a really good idea, or this could be a really bad idea. But if you hear airplanes, or if you hear really loud cars, we'll give them a yeah boy, because that's what we do. So down here in Florida, we have a lot of people that seem not to like. They're like muffler optional.
Exactly. Yes, and we do. You may hear some helicopters. You may hear some airplanes, and I invested in a bird feeder over the holidays, so you may hear birds in the background too.
Yeah, but no, we just thought we'd take it outside today, give this a shot, and today is, I'm hoping, the final video about Icon of the Seas, because I think this will be 9 deep into Icon, well, plus the previous videos, preview videos of us booking. So I think all said 11 episodes on this channel, not podcast, but on our total channel, dedicated to just Icon of the Seas. And I think today we're going to give you the full nitty gritty.
It's the finale.
The season finale?
Are you going to start singing? Da, 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 da.
The final countdown?
Yeah, it is. It's like the culmination of everything. So I'm glad it was a great trip, but I think this will be a great way to end this and look forward to our next cruise. So everything today, Icon. I call it a debrief, but it feels very formal, businessy that way.
Debrief.
So it's going to be
actually in business, we have like the postmortem.
Postmortem discussion.
The postmortem, right? Or if you're in the military, the after action report. And there was a lot of action.
There was. And so I took notes, and I have my phone here for that exact reason. So I'm not trying to be
she's on
rude.
Facebook.
And
she's shopping on
Amazon, buying my next cruise wear. Now, so today we're going to break it all down.
Break it down.
All right, Nate, where do we want to start?
Oh, God. You're in charge of the list today.
Okay.
I'm just along for the ride.
Okay. I think we start with food. That is like food. Very wide range.
Yes, we get asked a lot of questions about food. I get asked a lot of questions about food, which, by the way, if you do want to go on Icon, nywtravel.com, nywtravel.com. We started the travel to support the channel. So in lieu of doing a Patreon, which actually now I'm thinking about doing a Patreon, because I don't know, everyone just does a Patreon. So, but I'd rather work for your money and have you help. You're going to go on a cruise anyway. So head on over to nywtravel.com and drop us a note.
Exactly.
Anyway, so back to the food.
All right. So let's start with, let's maybe talk a little bit about our unique experience. So for those that did not watch our previous vlogs, which I don't know why you haven't.
If you haven't, stop this video, go back, watch all 8 vlogs, and then come back.
So we splurged on this cruise, and we stayed in a suite, Sky Suite, and this was the first. This was a first for us, but a first for Royal Caribbean in the fact that they kind of had I would say like a ship within a ship concept. So yes, Coastal Kitchen is
ship-esque.
Ship-esque.
Ship within a ship-esque.
Yes. So yes, although like Coastal Kitchen is on, I think, almost every Royal Caribbean ship that has a suite, they also included the Grove. So let's talk a little bit about Coastal Kitchen, our experiences there, the Grove.
Yeah.
Break that part down first.
All right. So you've got Coastal Kitchen, which is the suites only dining, lunch, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, which I really like because it gives you a lot of options. And then you have the Grove, which is the light bite Mediterranean-based-ish lighter fare, which kind of has a light breakfast and a light lunch.
Yeah, I would say there's...
How many more times can you use the word light?
I would say that if you are hungry, there is going to be food at the Grove, no matter what time of day. So
yes,
you can
including ice cream bars.
Including ice cream bars. Yes, we'll see that part. So as far as Coastal Kitchen, I only actually dine there for breakfast on disembarkation day because if y'all know, I am the sleeper in this relationship. So I just skip breakfast generally.
Breakfast was good. I mean, it's a good breakfast. It's hot. Now, the thing is, too, is they have not one but two kitchens for Coastal Kitchen, right? So they have actually, because it's 2 floors, there's a kitchen upstairs and a kitchen downstairs. Mm-hmm. So food comes out really fast, really hot. This is not like being in the main dining room where you're waiting for stuff. And I mean, we've eaten in main dining on Royal. It's fine.
Right.
This was good. I mean, so breakfast was good. Like, there was nothing I was like, wow, like that was the most amazing breakfast I have ever had.
Can't really jazz up an omelet too much, in my opinion.
I don't know. I've had some jazzy brunches. Remember the Lambs Club in New York City?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that place was out of control. If you're ever in New York, I don't know if the place is still open, but check out the Lambs Club for brunch. It is amazing. But
it's once a lifetime.
Yeah, so breakfast was fine. I think I did run up. They also had like a little buffet too, a breakfast buffet.
Yeah.
Which had like fruit, like Danish, some like bagels and salmon, stuff like that.
And pretty much coffee throughout the day because you are such a coffee fiend. So
yes, they have a coffee machine in there, like a little machine that can make you a cappuccino or something like that, and it's decent.
Yeah,
it's good. It's like, if you go to a corporate office and they have like one of those cappuccino machines.
Yep.
Doctor's office, right? It's like that. It's nothing special.
But it's nice because like I said, I would sleep in and Nate would wake up and go have a nice sit down breakfast and then come back and maybe bring me like a muffin. So that was nice. Moving on to lunch.
I did room service. I brought the room service.
Yes, you were my room service attendant.
Oh, wait. One more thing for breakfast, though. We did do dining on our deck one day for breakfast.
Yes.
Was that separate?
That's okay. You're going off script. That's fine.
That's okay. So, and breakfast was the same. It was very fast. We ordered room service. They said 45 minutes, and it showed up in about 15. Again, though, I think that's because we were in the suites class, and literally the kitchen was on the other side of our door.
Pretty much.
In the hallway.
But I would also add, with the suite level category of a room, we were able to order off of the main dining room breakfast. So, we've ordered on other cruise lines, and you get typically a little bit more of like a continental fare option.
Yeah.
But we were able to get scrambled eggs and I'm sure there was pancakes. It was very nice.
What port were we in that day?
We were in St. Kitts.
St. Kitts. It was a nice breakfast.
It was beautiful. It was probably one of my favorite parts of the cruise, ironically enough.
Yeah.
It's so simple, but such a nice touch.
All right. So get us back on track, Colleen.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
I know. Nate derailed us. All right. So let's move on to lunch. So Coastal Kitchen lunch, I would say, is definitely a nice option if you want cool sit-down, tableside service. It's definitely a little bit more of like a meal per se. So I think on embarkation day, we had lunch there, which was really nice, and just had like a nice piece of salmon and some vegetables. So a little bit more of a meal than necessarily like a...
Yeah, a little jazzed up.
Yeah. But you had, I think, a lobster roll one day for lunch.
I did, yeah. It was a nice lunch. I think comparative to like the Haven, I like the lunch better.
Yes.
In Coastal Kitchen because I don't need like basically a dinner at lunch. Right. I want lunch.
Right. Exactly. Let's move on to. We can talk a little bit about happy hour. And then we'll move on to dinner at Coastal Kitchen.
Okay. Yeah. So happy hour, which we didn't find out about until like a week before the cruise.
Right.
From 4, was it 5 to?
It was 5 to 8.
5 to 8. And now here's the other thing, which is really confusing. I've heard all sorts of different things. I heard on other ships, it's like all day. It's like 11 to 8. Or 11 to 11. Mm-hmm. And then I've heard, I even saw a post in Icon that the bar at the Grove area served beer and wine and soda free all day. But that wasn't my experience.
No, but granted, we're not like daytime drinkers. So I was perfectly fine from 5 to 8 to be able to get a glass of wine or a nice cocktail before dinner or after dinner.
Yeah, so. and it was anything. It was like top shelf. If you wanted whatever bourbon, you wanted whatever vodka or gin. Yeah. It was the whole kit and caboodle. No well drinks
Yep.
here, so that was nice.
And it was nice because within Coastal Kitchen, so within the dining area, there was the actual like kind of high top bar where there was bartenders working. You could kind of go saddle up, have your drink there. They also had kind of lower, more couch cushiony type of seating that was just kind of outside of the dining area. So again, you could have your pre-dinner drink, your post-dinner drink. So great seating options there. And then, you know, you get to enjoy your dinner. So dinners, I think, were fantastic.
Dinner was so okay. And we've eaten in the main dining in Royal, so I can probably say this with confidence. It's like much better than main dining.
Yes.
In Royal Caribbean, period.
Yes.
But here's the question. Is it as good as other cruise lines kind of main dining room fare?
That's a tough one. That is a tough one. I would say it's probably equivalent to like the Celebrity Aqua class restaurant.
I think the main dining on Celebrity.
You think main dining on
I
Celebrity
think main
is better?
dining, I think they're as good.
As good, okay.
As Coastal Kitchen. Right, and we're giving you this, so if you've been on one of these other ships, you can kind of have a baseline. So Celebrity, the Edge class specifically, main dining rooms are very good. And I think that the food there in Coastal Kitchen was as good as Celebrity.
Okay.
My opinion.
You heard it here. You heard it here. I would say it's slightly better, but here nor there. I think like for the price of what you pay for a Celebrity to get kind of that base level, that's your all-included food compared to Icon of the Seas going in at a suite level class, hands down.
That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
It's like again, these are some of the things where it's like the value for money proposition. You start to go like, again, we'll talk about it in totality, the ship, but you have to really think about like, okay, why am I booking, a suite on Icon, right? So you got to be thoughtful about it.
Yep. But I would say service overall in Coastal Kitchen, fantastic. Fantastic.
Service, breakfast, lunch, dinner, the Grove, bartenders.
They knew us. They knew us by name. They got to get, more familiar with like a cocktail that Nate would order or a glass of wine that I would order. And it was just
Colleen coming in. They'd be whipping out those bottles of vodka.
Right. Yep, just straight old vodka.
They're like, "Do you want a Cosmo?" She's like, "Nope, just handed the bottle
over." Okay, so I think this is a good transition. So the food was fantastic in Coastal Kitchen, but 7 days of eating in Coastal Kitchen, it started to get a little bit old.
It did. They do switch the menu around, so they always kind of have the staple items on there, like the New York strip steak and like a chicken dish and a fish dish, and then they have something that rotates. But it is heavy, right? So again, this is where I start running into. So by the end of the cruise, we ended up doing a Zumi on the last night, and we'll talk about that in a second. But I think you have to break it up, and I would say maybe even do 2 nights of specialty dining somewhere, just to break it up.
I agree. So switching to Izumi, good transition, Nate. One of my favorites.
Yeah.
I think a sushi at sea, I would say Izumi and Ron 5, which is Celebrity's kind of equivalent to sushi restaurant. I would say neck and neck, but just like the service, the food, the freshness. And I'll be honest, I got a little weary about doing sushi on the last night of the cruise ship. You start to think, oh, how fresh is it going to be? But Izumi was fantastic. Did not disappoint.
It was very good, and I actually spoke to a few days earlier to one of the sushi chefs, and it wasn't his first time. So that's the other thing. This was an inaugural cruise. I think I've heard different rumors, but I think around 80 to 90% of the crew were experienced crew members. And this gentleman that I spoke to at Izumi, this was his like second or third opening of a new Izumi restaurant. And he also told me he was going to be going to Utopia of the Seas to open that ship. So they're bringing in experienced people. So again, it should stay the same level of quality, but again, really good service. The sushi was fantastic. We did it a la carte, and I think it was like all total like 60, 70 bucks. Like, then we did get some alcohol, but I think just for the food, I think it was like 75 bucks or something like that, which is, we've been to sushi around here lately. It's expensive.
Our takeout sushi and like just our little like to go containers, it costs about 60 bucks.
It costs 40 bucks like for lunch now.
I know.
For sushi lunch.
I know. So let's move on to some of like the tried and true staples of Royal Caribbean. So Icon of the Seas kept the Windjammer, Sorrento's, and Park Cafe. And so, yes, we did go check out the Windjammer.
Yeah, and the Windjammer is still the Windjammer. There's nothing. I know that people were probably posting pictures of like lobster and steaks on the first day of the inaugural cruising. And I think they did it the second week, but don't expect that. I mean, we went there for lunch one day, and it's pretty much what I remember. I mean, again, it's good.
Yeah.
It's but it's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. There's no problem.
Nope, agree. Sorrento's, yep, we had to have just a slice of pizza just to see maybe if it won us back over, because it's just not one of our top favorites, and it's still just kind of mediocre.
It's as I put it in the funny little video that I will release, but it's like a 5 beer pizza. Like after you've had 5 beers, right. Like it's good pizza, right? But it takes about 5 beers to get there, to
make it worth your while.
Yeah. Again, not a fan favorite.
Nope. Park Cafe. We honestly just walked in, looked around, looked to see if there was anything different, and there was nothing different. And
it was pretty much the same. Yeah. I mean, sandwiches and salads. Again, these are good options. Like, we're not saying the food is bad by any stretch of the imagination, but it's basic good food. I mean, it's stuff everybody will kind of like.
Yeah. And one of the things is you're on a 7-day cruise. There's only so many meals in the day. There's only so much room in my stomach, and you have to kind of pick and choose. So we had been and dined at some of these places already. So for us, it was like, oh, let's go explore something new. So let's talk about the Aquadome Market, Nate. That is one of the new features of Icon.
That was the standout. I think that was the standout venue for Icon. The crepe. They have kind of a few different places. So they have the creperie there.
Yep, creme de la crepe.
Creme de la crepe.
Yep.
I'm gonna try to do this from memory. Let's see how good I can do.
All right.
Ginger.
Yeah.
Which is the Asian-inspired place. Mac and cheese. Mm-hmm. Different types of mac and cheese. Feta Mediterranean, and the last one. It's I don't know. It's the salad place. Wait, Garden something? No.
Oh, you're so close. Toast and Garden.
Toast and Garden. Yeah. And then they have a bar. It's just called Bar.
Bar.
You get a White Claw there. Unless they have some White Claws on ice.
Oh, jeez. So Nate tried out creme de la crepe. I tried out ginger. I tried out feta. Actually, and I tried out mac and cheese. Or mac.
Yeah.
And you tried Toast and Garden.
Yep.
So we covered them all.
We got them all, except for Bar.
Except for Bar, because
we didn't have no drink package.
No, I'm not drinking at noon. So what I loved is like small bowls. So like a good, I wouldn't say necessarily like a lunch. I guess if you went to a couple different, little venues and got a bowl here, definitely lunch worthy. But kind of like a good pre-dinner snack too. I love that the portions were small. I love that they were somewhat pre-made. But you could still kind of customize them. So like with mac, you could get like different varieties of mac and cheese. You could add some like breadcrumbs on it, some additional like cheese. With ginger, it was sort of like pick your base, pick your protein, pick like your vegetable. So there was some modification to it, but it was quick. Yeah. It was just nice and quick.
It was good. It was like, your fast casual type of environment. Yeah. That's what it reminded me of. But again, and I think for like brunch too, right? If you're not an early riser, go up, you can grab a crepe, grab a sandwich. I had a Monte Cristo. I can't remember the last time I had a Monte Cristo. It was good. It was just another option on the ship. So I think that was probably the standout kind of free food. In my opinion. I
agree. For me, feta Mediterranean.
Oh yeah, that was
favorite.
Really good. Yeah,
favorite.
Really good. I wish the only thing is I do wish they had lamb there, but I know lamb's pricey, so it was like pork instead.
That was very good. Okay, let's talk Pearl Cafe, Nate, because that was, I feel like, another, new to Icon of the Seas, but man, Nate was there, I feel like, every single day.
Well, yeah, because they had power ports, so I could do video editing. But no, it was nice with the humongous windows. Again, a lot of different pastries and danishes in the morning, breakfast sandwiches, a whole new grab and go section. So they actually had like prepared stuff. You could literally just walk up and grab it. I remember one girl's standing next to her dad, and she's like, "Wait, we can just take it?" And he's like, "Yes, you can just take it." And then they also serve Starbucks coffee. It's Starbucks espresso and stuff like that. But there's Starbucks drinks. So if you want to go to the Starbucks, you can go to the Starbucks, or you can just go there, and it's actually a couple bucks cheaper. But I really like the Pearl Cafe. And the other thing is too, it's like it's got those huge windows now. I mean, it is a vast improvement over the Cafe Promenade. So the Pearl Cafe, definitely a fan favorite.
Awesome. All right, so let's move on to where we actually didn't get to even dine, because again, there was only 7 days. So we did not make it to Pier 7, Surfside Eatery, Surfside Bites, Base Camp, Izumi in the Park, nor El Loco Fresh, despite I tried, I think, 2 attempts to make it to El Loco Fresh.
Yeah, I did pop in the Surfside Eatery to check it out. It's like the buffet down by the Surfside there. It was nice. It was like a mini Windjammer, but like more kid focused. So like,
Right.
Like nuggets shaped like animals. They had like ice cream, but they had like all this like way more toppings like you could put on it. Like pizza by like the slice, like hamburgers, hot dogs. Like it is like kid, like if I was 9-year-old chubby fat Nate, I'd be like in heaven.
Well, that I think it's brilliant what Royal Caribbean did, because I think that is the whole purpose of Surfside, is to kind of have it as your family destination. Not only do they have like the rooms that overlook Surfside, but it's, it's got the carousel and the pools and the little water park, and they just brought food right to you. So I think it's brilliant.
Yeah, except for the Pier 7 restaurant. Is it Pier 7?
Yeah.
What it's called? Yeah, that place was dead. It's an extra fee add-on. I never saw anybody in there. So I've got this feeling like some of this stuff's going to get revisited
Right.
over time. Maybe it was just the time of day or whatever, but I was down there multiple points in the day. I never saw anybody in there eating. Because again, I mean, I looked at the food. It looked fine, but I don't know. I don't think that's going to end up being a fan favorite.
Oh, geez.
Just some birds. If you're in listen only mode, again, we're out here on our patio today, and there's a bird fight.
Okay, so the last 2 new venues within Icon of the Seas was Empire Supper Club and Celebration Table.
Heard good things about both.
Yep.
Didn't do
same
them,
here.
but I heard good things about both.
Right. I think, if we were ever to sail Icon of the Seas again, I'd probably want to try the Supper Club. But,
That was the only venue I wanted to do, and it sold out in like 4 seconds.
I know.
And I was like on Facebook, I've been looking every day, and then I have this thing called a job, and all of a sudden I like had a break. I'm like, oh, let me just check again, and it's like sold out. I'm like, seriously?
Yeah. But again, for the price, I love jazz, but we found and we'll transition to entertainment shortly, but Lou's Jazz and Blues had what we think was the same performing
Pretty sure it's the
entertainers
same.
that
Yeah,
were in the
same
Supper
jazz-
Club.
Same jazz band.
Yeah.
They just walk upstairs. They do the Supper Club, take a quick break, and go up to Lou's.
Yeah. So I think that covers kind of all the food. Anything else that you wanted to talk about in that area?
So I think overall, the food was some venues like Izumi. Izumi's always good, but I thought it was very, very good on Icon. And I don't know, maybe we just hit right. There's obviously other places, fan favorites like Giovanni's and Chops that we didn't do, but
Hooked was on Icon.
Hooked was on there as well too. I didn't hear anyone say anything bad. I didn't hear anyone say anything good. So I'm just going to go make the assumption that their quality is the same.
Right.
So if you like Hook on other venues, you'll like it on here. And Giovanni is the same thing.
Yep.
But yeah, there's still a lot of different places to eat. And the main dining too, which is 3 stories.
Right. Which is crazy. Like we just walked in, looked. I mean, that's the thing is I think even if you were on the ship for 3 weeks, you probably may just get to be able to touch every single dining venue because there's just so much as far as options, which is really nice because you can just kind of pick and choose. You know what? Tonight I think I want to do something casual. Let's go to the Aquadome.
Yep. I think that's exactly it. So, though I did hear the Windjammer's still only open one half of it at night.
Okay. Well, that makes sense. There's so many other options. Yeah. All right. Let's move on to entertainment.
Do I entertain you? All the men out there know that's from. Do you know what movie that's from?
I have no idea. Should I?
Gladiator. Come on.
God.
Do I entertain you?
All right. Let's talk shows first. So, the main, I would say, kind of large venue attraction, sort of the theater, big theater production, Wizard of Oz. And I get it, but I was so bummed that we could not record anything. I mean, we respected the rules because I'm not a rule breaker, but there were people that were recording.
Are you poo-pooing on the people?
I am.
Are you throwing down smack to other content creators?
I am. I respect the rules of Royal Caribbean.
FYI, everyone, I have nothing to do with this. I cannot control the content that comes out of Colleen.
But Wizard of Oz, oh, it was so good.
It was amazing.
Hands down, my favorite show between cruise ships, between New York, between Las Vegas. It was spectacular.
You know, they always say Broadway, like, quality. This was beyond Broadway quality. It was like they went, and who's the creative director? Nick Ware? I feel like, is it Nick something? Anyways,
yeah.
Something like that. But he did a fantastic job. The actors were amazing. The set, just the costumes. It was like a fresh take on, like, kind of modernized it, but at the same time kept it very true to the classic. I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah, and not to give it away for those that are going to sail on it, but there's definitely some immersive qualities that occur. There's some moments during the show where you're like, ooh, okay, wasn't expecting that. So nice touch overall.
Yeah, really good show. Highly recommend. And you were able to book reservations for these things ahead of time. So at some point, it's not too near. It's like pretty, like 30 days-ish. Mm-hmm. But just keep checking because you can book. I would highly recommend you book the Wizard of Oz.
Yes. All right. So let's talk the water show. So Aqua Action. It was, again, so for those that, again, we were on the inaugural sailing. They had, I would say, was it 35-minute show, 40-minute show?
Yeah, and someone said it was that was going to be the full show, but I've heard afterwards they're still adding other elements.
And one of the cool things about how they've designed the Aqua Theater is that you can actually go, it's not as like closed off or as like secretive, I would say, as maybe some of the other Oasis class designs, but you can go and just sit down and like watch them practice, watch them. Yeah. We were seeing them like create new elements to the show.
Yeah, that's why I know the show's not totally finished.
Yeah.
Or I'm sure it's getting closer now. It's been a couple months.
Right. But hands down, favorite show. Ice skating.
Yes, Starburst. So what is Starburst?
Yes, Starburst.
Like
yes.
the candy.
Yes, like elements of something or other.
And it was good. I mean, if you watch the video at the end, I was being very genuine. It was a very good show. I mean, I liked it. I thought it was more entertaining than a lot of the ice shows. It was a little less kiddie, right? I think some of the other shows kind of like very kid front, and they did have some other shows that they put on that are more kid geared, but like even the ones that were supposed to be for adults on other ships always kind of felt like kind of juvenile.
Yeah.
To me, this was good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. This one, like, there was definitely some interpretation. I don't know if a child would necessarily like it or understand it. But again, the costumes. Why I liked it. Yeah. The costumes, the acrobatics, just the overall, skating quality was fantastic. And I loved how they've kind of redesigned set or the skating rink where it's completely circular.
Yeah, that's cool. It's just better, and then the combination of like the music, the sound, the lighting, like the lighting effects and everything is super cool. That was the same thing for the Aqua Dome for Aqua Actions. The lighting and like just the use of like modern technology just to like super immersive, really get you into the shows. The shows were great. This was by far. I think the only place I've ever liked shows more is honestly on Edge Class, but just the small kind of intimate shows, because they're just they're very different. And on Virgin too, right? Just very different immersive shows. But for like large mega cruise ship, Icon definitely is the top.
Yeah.
The top. I don't think there's anything out there that compares.
And that's what I think I said to Nate multiple times during our cruise was like, I think Royal has set their own bar for themselves. Like they keep, it's like, how can they get any better?
Unless the next ship like launches into outer space.
I mean, you brought up a good point about the Aqua Show and like the robotics and the use of the robotics and the sound. I mean, you truly feel it.
Yeah. So again, I don't know how they're going to top it. I don't think there is. In fact, I've heard rumors that Royal might be coming out with a smaller class of ships, new small class of ships.
Well, you'll have to keep us posted
at NYW. I will have to keep you on that. So, but yeah, I think this is for mega class. I don't think they're going to get bigger.
Yep.
They won't be able to go anywhere. They'll like go out in the ocean, twirl around in a circle, and come back.
I know. All right, so let's move away from kind of the major productions and let's talk a little bit about some of the smaller venues. So let's start with the Dueling Piano Bar.
Loved it. It was great. Okay, I want to preface this. It was very good. It was reminded me of my youth and going to Jake Ivory's on Lansdowne Street.
In Boston.
Shipping up to Boston. But with that said, the venue was way too small. And we were not even at capacity.
No.
So you could never get a seat in there. And then because it's open to the Grand Promenade and there are children walking around, they very much had to censor themselves, which you would typically not get at like one of those dual piano bars. It would be very much, they're never raunchy, but they're always kind of geared towards adults and a little, thing. But they really did. It was still very good.
It was. I agree. I was disappointed because I felt like there was only, I get it. These guys need to take a break, but it would only be maybe like once a night if we were lucky, maybe every other night. So it was kind of limited offerings. And
yeah, we got the last night we were able to sit down for a little bit, but it was like a late show. Like you can go to like, people get there so early and just camp out.
Right. Yeah. They'd take their seat.
Do you want to have dinner or do you want to go watch the dueling pianos?
I know. You can
pick one or the other.
Each to their own. All right. So comedy. So they have the Attic, which is, again, another small venue.
Yep. Sold out before I was even able to reserve anything. Again, kind of the same experience. Very small space. But this is not a Royal only problem. This is like in every cruise ship on planet Earth issue is the adult comedy clubs are way too small. They're always too small. They're always sold out. And in fact, we've been on every cruise we've been on, we have never been able to see one adult comedy show in kind of the designated comedy space.
That is true. I don't know. Lou's Jazz and Blues. I loved it.
It was great.
I loved everything
that was
about
the best.
it.
That was the best venue on the ship.
Right.
For just like music and chilling. And here's the thing. I don't think people appreciate jazz music because it was never super busy.
It wasn't.
And the band was fantastic.
And I love everything about Central Park. Central Park, hands down, day, night. There's not a bad time to go and just relax. And for me, that's always my little like sanctuary to get away from like the craziness around the pool areas or whatever. And it was perfect. And so in the evening, you've got the wind kind of low blowing. You can have like tables sort of inside, outside. It had like a very open feel. So even if you were inside, you still got kind of just the evening cool breeze. Drinks were great. Music was great.
Drinks were very good.
It was perfect.
Yeah, and across the way too. If you like champagne, there's Bubbles, so you could grab champagne if you really wanted to, or one of their champagne drinks, which were great.
Yeah.
That's an underrated venue because it's just tucked away. It's just one dude at a champagne bar.
Yep.
And making some craft cocktails with champagne, which I thought was pretty cool.
I know. We never made it to the Trellis Bar.
We've never made. I think we've gone there once on one ship. It's just a bar.
Yeah.
I don't know that there's. I mean, this one supposedly has some food. I guess we could have checked it out, but again, there's just so much to do. I mean, I guess it gives you a reason to go back.
Right. Exactly. Okay, so let's move on. We've got the music hall. So we did go check out the music hall this time.
Yep, we went and saw the legendary Phoenix.
Yes.
Which is like got this like kind of cult-like fan following on the cruise ship industry. It was good. I mean, it was a good venue for rock music. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, and I mean, we showed up maybe half hour, 45 minutes before they went on, and we got a seat right in the front. Just low kind of cocktail table seating, just really easy. And it wasn't packed, but man, people did like start to kind of come in, flow into the venue.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it's got two stories, so you can, I think there was couches up top, perfect, different seating. But if you're into like 80s classic rock,
yeah,
hairband rock, it's perfect.
Yeah, I think the one thing that was a miss. Well, first of all, I think it's a very much underutilized venue. Mm-hmm. Like they have just they just have the music there. That should be the venue where they have the comedy.
True.
They should make that venue because then the DJ, and again, this could be any ship, but like I wasn't the only person who said this. It was just low. The DJ was just off, and that venue for like a nightclub doesn't really work. I don't know what it is. It's just something weird.
Yeah.
About the venue and just the energy. And I think, talking to some folks, like it's kind of like, I don't know, it's different. It's just different.
Yep. I agree. It was not really my vibe. I think after like 10 o'clock in the evening, it was just sort of all right, I guess we're going to go to bed now.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the only thing is that, I was talking to someone from Royal and they were like, look, you have to understand, like, this is a ship geared towards families. Right. And because I said, man, like celebrities got like, I feel like celebrity at night is like, that's like they talk about that ship coming alive, like in some of their advertisements. Right. Like it is true. Like it is like being in a major metropolitan
area. You're like running between like venues and events and like, oh, let's go like listen to some like, Beatles cover songs right now live.
We always stay up late on Celebrity.
We did. And I'm like, I'm a late riser and an early to bed girl.
But they said, look, like, yeah, it's by design. Mm-hmm. It's, and I think most people are exhausted, especially when you're traveling with a family, you're exhausted anyways.
Yeah, exactly. So the last place let's talk about is the Overlook. So Overlook is, again, a new venue within Icon of the Seas. It is kind of behind the Aqua Dome and the Aqua Market. It's just a very interesting venue. There's just a lot of glass. There's a lot of seating.
Sorry, this bird, like, there's this bird behind me. He's just like, he's not getting the hint. The bird feeder is empty right now. I guess that's on us.
He's grumpy at you.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Overlook I would say is just I don't know. It's a huge space, but I don't kind of get the intent of it. I found it was very hot during the day because there's no shades. It's all glass and it just gets steamy. And the seating, it was hard to kind of come by, believe it or not. And I wanted to love it. It just didn't feel relaxing to me. There was lots of like big, like oval kind of banquette seating, or there was like seats right up along like the glass, but there was like people on the floor. It just felt like I didn't get the point of it.
Yeah, I think it's a layout issue more than anything. And there's just because a lot of dead space or just empty space in there. And I'm sure, they're going to look at these things because I think about other ships within Royal Caribbean Group, right? And we actually were talking about this today, is how, after Celebrity Edge and Celebrity Apex, they redesigned things like the Sunset Bar. They redesigned like the atrium. I think the same thing is going to happen on these new ships is they're going to get feedback. They're going to look, they're going to watch how people actually moved on the ship and they're going to say, okay, we got to put some more seating here. We got to take some seating away from here. We got to make some changes. So don't be surprised if we see some tweaks on future ships.
So the last thing I think we wanted to talk about with entertainment, which I thought was very, very nice, is the classical music.
Yeah. So during the day now, I don't know if this is going to be ongoing, but in the, what's it called? The Royal
Promenade. Yeah.
They had classical music playing today, which is nice when you're sitting at Cafe Promenade and you get to hear some classical music versus the
Right.
Because that's the one thing about Royal, and actually it's not just a Royal thing, it's a lot of cruise ships, which is, and I say this a lot, loud music doesn't equate to fun, nor does it equate to relax. It definitely doesn't equate to relaxation, but there's this thing like, if the music's not cranked to 50 million, decibels, is you can't have fun. And I think for a lot of people, it's like, if I can't hear the person next to me, like I know you're trying to create a party atmosphere, and maybe it's just I'm getting old or whatever. But
I was gonna say, you sound like a crotchety old man.
I like music though. I like dancing. I like going to the club.
Yeah, there's like a time and a place.
Time and place.
Yes, and I think we need to clarify. So it wasn't even just classical music playing. It was actually like a 6-piece orchestra, I want to say.
Yeah, it was like,
there was like violins.
Yeah, it was very nice.
It was just beautiful.
Yeah, it was beautiful. And then if you did want the you go to the Hideaway.
Yes.
At the back of the ship, which is
well,
the
I
adults
think
only
that's
area.
a great transition because I think next topic's accessibility.
Yeah, accessibility. So, ship is very accessible. Let's start right there.
Yep, I think that is a first comment that we need to make is everywhere you can get to.
Yep.
I would say staterooms very accessible, bathrooms very accessible, maneuvering around the ship, overall hands down very, very accessible. Do I love all of the accessibility choices that they made? Not so much.
Yeah. So elevators. So a lot of places where you need to use an elevator to get to. So the one that we just talked about, which is the
Hideaway.
Well, the Hideaway, but also what's the place in the front of the ship we were just talking about? Overlook. And then also the ice rink.
Yes.
Are all venues that are not accessible without using one of those smaller lifts, which actually for Wizard of Oz, we wanted to go to the first level and the lift wasn't working. And this is the stuff that is like, those little lifts, I always feel like if something's not going to work, it's always going to be one of those little lifts.
Right. I completely agree. All the main floors were all operating with the big industrial, elevators, easy to access. Like they've added like kind of like a massive iPad basically where you hit the floor you want to go to and then it tells you the letter of the elevator you need to go to, and it's more direct.
Are the best.
They really were. They were fantastic, and there was definitely some accessibility features on the main elevators, but it's just disappointing when, there's these little lifts that is your only option to get to a level. Because to Nate's point, they seem like they're always breaking down. There's not that reliability feature, and that's the part that's irritating.
Yeah, in fact, the one at the Overlook we didn't think was working. They're like, oh no, the door is just not shutting fully, so someone has to close the door behind, which they said they were going to have fixed, right? It was like, it wasn't, but it's just like one of those things. It's like, I don't want to get an attendant every time I want to go to part of the ship. In fact, the Hideaway, we actually ended up sneaking through. Well, we didn't sneak through; they let us through.
Yes.
So be clear on that. But it was like a crew area. We cut through rather than having to take two different lifts to get down to like the main, area.
Yeah.
So to me, that was the only kind of like, it's a brand new ship, and like it's just like,
Yeah, I think it would have been great if they had maybe designed just more like long ramps as an option as opposed to these lifts. As Nate was saying, again, we were heading towards, we want to check out the Hideaway pool area. And so we went into the Windjammer, went all the way to the back, and we were hoping that there was a cut through there because it was on the same level.
Yeah, and they could design a cut through there. That's the thing. Is
Yes.
they have a crew hallway, which doesn't actually like, there's like more to that hallway, right? So they could literally just build a hallway that goes directly from the back side of the Windjammer there right into the Hideaway, club area.
Yeah, because alternatively, if we had done it the correct way of accessing the pool area, we would have had to take...
breaking the law.
So there's another type of lift that's attached to the railing of a stairway. And again, that is a...
Remember that one on NCL?
Yes.
It was terrifying.
It was terrifying because it was super windy. We were at sea. But again, the same thing. We have to now go find someone that has the key that can operate it, because this thing is all closed up, covered up with protective, from like salt
obviously.
and sea water and whatnot.
Yeah, and they'll do it. It's not like
They will.
It's not like, but there was, and here's the thing, and I will say, kudos to NCL. NCL has little attendant phones right by those lifts, so
Yeah.
you don't have to go look around. You pick up the phone and say, "Hey, I'm at so and so. I need to use the lift." And they say, "Okay," and somebody comes,
Yes.
and gets you.
Yeah. So that was the only thing. It's like we literally went and we checked out the hideaway pool area, maybe 5-10 minutes. Again, the area was just like pumping with music.
Yeah, it wasn't my jam, anyways.
No, I mean, it's beautiful. You're looking over the the aft of the ship, and it kind of has like a little bit of a cantilever pool style. So really cool concept, but yeah, I just wish that they had maybe thought of other alternatives to doing, providing access to all areas other than these lifts.
Yeah, we'll see what the feedback is and if that changes, because again, I think the aft, like, I'm more relaxation and like watching the sea drift away vibe than like, Ibiza vibe. Like, I just think it works better in the aft of the ship, and I think you can get the party up at the main pool.
Yep.
If you want. But yeah, so what else do we have, Colleen, to cover today?
So I think the last thing we want to do is address some of the questions that people have had for us. So, did it feel crowded? Were we able to see everything? Just our overall thoughts of Icon of the Sea. So again, we were at 80% capacity, as Nate had said earlier, on the inaugural sailing. We clearly, from I think our debrief from today, we didn't see everything. Like, we didn't eat everywhere. We didn't, we were able to see some shows, but maybe not all shows. So I'd say, I think honestly, you probably need 2 solid weeks to really get through everything on Icon of the Seas.
Yeah, it's at least a 2, maybe even 3 visits to really say that you saw everything.
Right.
But definitely you cannot do it all in 1 week, and nor would I try, because you would just be, just filming alone, I walked, how many miles did I walk? It was like something crazy. It was like 40 miles or something.
Right. I think the only time that for me it felt crowded was actually the balloon drop. And again, it was the biggest balloon drop at sea. I think people were super excited. But again, there's like a secondary level that you can kind of get up and get away from the crowd. So again, if you are in a wheelchair, you have a disability, and like those types of environments are maybe not conducive to how you like to, have fun. There is ways to sort of get away, but still be part of the action.
Yeah, and our sailing was also not at capacity. I think we were at right under 5,000 people, so it could hold another 2,000 people. I've been kind of monitoring Facebook and the different icon groups. I have heard of on sea days things like the slides and stuff like that. Wait times can get long, but a lot of people are saying like, hey, this ship is going to a port, lots of ports where, if you're an avid cruiser, you've been on cruise multiple times. I mean, how many times have you been to St. Thomas?
Right.
Like 10 billion times,
Right.
right? People just like, I stay on the cruise ship and it becomes a short, it's not a very long wait. Again, it's a huge ship, and we've been on other, obviously the Oasis class ships are probably the only thing comparable, and we've been on one of those that's been very full. And I don't see how this would ever feel more full. In fact, there were so much more seating decks and just more places for people to go. So again, if you've been on an Icon sailing at full capacity, leave a comment down below. We'd love to hear your thoughts on that. But for the most part, I think I think that there's a lot of room on the ship. And then if you really want to get away, do the suites, because the Suite Grove Sun Deck, which we never even really talked about, there was never anybody there.
No, there wasn't. And that was my favorite part of, honestly, of the sailing. I think, we had an opportunity to get like a sun lounger when we wanted to lay out. It was definitely just, it truly gave you that way that to kind of escape a little bit of the hecticness. But all the pools had plenty of loungers. Like I don't think there was ever a time where, I think everyone gets kind of spread out. So it doesn't feel like you're necessarily all around one pool and all consolidated. It's just much more massive. And there's nooks and crannies everywhere for people to go.
Yep. So, So again, lots of room. It's a big ship.
It's a big ship.
It's a big ship. Don't call it a boat.
So anything else you want to talk about today, Nate, and just kind of our overall thoughts on Icon of the Sea?
I think maybe just we will give our overall recommendation. Will we do that? And so why don't you go first, Colleen, because I think I have some thoughts on that.
Ooh, okay. This is not in my script. Oh, goodness.
You know me. Even if it was, I just don't like to stay on script.
Nate likes to put me on the spot is what it comes down to. So would I sail Icon of the Seas again? Is that your question?
Yes, that is my question. Answer the question.
I would say yes, but I would want the price to go down a little bit. I think for me, the price was pretty steep. I would probably do it during a sailing that is not like high kid volume. I would probably do it more like not spring break. I
don't think that exists anymore on Royal Caribbean. I don't think we've tried to do that and it hasn't worked.
And I would say if there was an opportunity to do the suite at an affordable price, somewhat affordable, I would do the suite again for sure.
Yeah, for sure. So very similar thoughts. I think Icon is a fantastic ship. I think, though, it is very clear to me that Royal Caribbean is a family-first cruise line, period, end of story. I don't think at this point, if you are, first of all, if you do not like being around children, do not book a Royal Caribbean cruise. I think that goes without saying. And I'm not saying this is a bad thing. I think people need to be very honest, is that Royal does a great job of marketing, and I think they try to market ships like Icon like it's a ship for everyone. In some ways, it is a ship for everyone. But I really do feel like, they say in their tagline, like the ultimate family vacation, like they're not joking. Like take them seriously. Like they're gearing this thing towards kids and families. And I think people just need to be aware of that. So if you're like, you want a more sophisticated type of cruise, you want something that's, without kids, I wouldn't say recommend any Royal ship anymore at this point. If you're like, hey, these are things I don't like and I want to be around kids. But if you were looking for literally the best mega cruise ship out there, period, it is Icon of the Seas. And there is no second best. There's no second best. None. Zero.
It's very dramatic, but I agree.
There's no second best right now.
No.
There literally isn't. There is nothing, no product, NCL, nowhere even close. Even Oasis class ships are fantastic, but nowhere near close. I mean, this thing is in a completely different category. And for that, you're going to pay a premium probably until they bring more Icon class ships online. So Star of the Seas comes out next year. It's going to be expensive. Yep. So you just have to ask yourself, if you really, really want to experience Icon and you are impatient, then go ahead and book Icon. And you're going to have a great family. If you have a family, I mean, like I said, man, if you were a kid, this ship is awesome. Yeah. This ship is like this would be the best vacation in your entire life. Like, I think better than Disney.
Oh, yeah. I agree. I mean, it's literally all contained right there. And and that is the nice thing, is there are little like places for parents to get away and that are more adult only. So there is, opportunities for parents to take a little break, but it's all there.
They have the kids. They have like the really good kids clubs there. You can drop the kids off for like extended periods of time, like whole day programs and stuff like that. So yeah, that's the benefit, right? So if mom and dad want to do date night, you can do that, right? You can do that, which you can't do in other places,
right?
Quite frankly, and honestly, if I had to pick between taking my kids to Disney World or Disneyland or any of the theme parks, or doing Icon of the Seas, I would do Icon of the Seas. Like, I wouldn't even think twice about it.
I agree. Well, I think that's a fantastic, culmination to this whole video, Nate.
I know. Royal Caribbean, where's my check? Just kidding. Just kidding. We knew it. They were pay for play the whole time. No. So that's it. So again, really appreciate you all coming along. If you enjoy the channel, please make sure to subscribe. It really does help us out. If you're listening to this podcast on another platform, we're pretty much every major platform: Amazon, Spotify, Apple Music. Take us on the go, or take us on your next cruise with you. Again, if you are looking to book travel, head on over to nywtravel.com. That's nywtravel.com. Oh, and one more thing I forgot is we do have a new website now. Yes. So that's kind of the central. I should probably just point people there. So that is, it's a really original name, navigatewithcolleenandnate.com. And you can go there and you can get our podcast, you can get videos, you can get links to NYW Travel. It's kind of like the one-stop shopping there. So head on over to navigatewithcolleenandnate.com. Other than that, Colleen, anything else from your end? No,
I think this has been great. I think farewell Icon of the Seas and moving on to our next cruise.
I promise, no more Icon of the Seas videos. But with that, again, thanks for watching. And remember, as always, to
navigate your world.